1-800-SUICIDE. How may I assist you? The girl's words were inaudible under the muffled cries. I heard her slurping tears from her lips as she attempted to speak. Hi. Yes? I want to die. This wasn't uncommon. In fact, it was my job to help these lost souls. You'd be amazed by how many calls simply started with those 4 words. Yes, I understand you want to die, you sniveling brat. This is a suicide hotline. Did you think I was expecting you to make an order for breadsticks and a pepperoni pizza? Now that would be an interesting conversation starter. Explain to me what happened, I replied as I scribbled on a notebook. He broke up with me. It's prom night. I'm so embarrassed. I fought the urge to sigh. I understand. No, you don't. Her shrill voice made me cringe. Of course I understand. This was one of the most common calls I received. Boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with me. I don't want to live. No one loves me. It was pathetic. The calls were a waste of my time. If these kids can't handle a breakup, then I doubt they will contribute anything positive to society. Suicide is an advanced form of natural selection. It is a necessity in some cases. In a world where we coddle the weak and keep the sick alive, sometimes the weak have to do us all a favor and do it themselves. This was one of those times. Calm down, I spoke calmly. Where are you? This was a direct violation of the rules. Under no circumstance was I to ever inquire about a caller's location. The reason is obvious, but on this particular night, I decided to take matters into my own hands. Her sobbing slowed for a moment. 5th Avenue, 34th Street. Do you have a cell phone number? Silence lurked on the other line for what seemed for like an eternity. I almost broke that silence when I heard her mumble out her number. Don't do anything stupid, I said. I'll get in touch. 3 hours later, I left work and hopped into my car. I plugged the address into my GPS and sent a text message to the number she provided. 5 minutes later, I received a reply. I'm still here. I smiled. I told her to meet me at the corner and told her what I was driving. She responded with a simple yes, and I drove to her location. When I arrived at the corner of 5th Avenue and 34th Street, I noticed a small brown-haired girl wearing a silver prom dress. She was no more than 16 years old. Her eyes were puffy and wet. Her lip still quivered with rage. I pulled up next to her and rolled down the window. Get in. She looked around and then hopped in the car. Want to talk about it? I asked. He's such an asshole, she started. Her story was the same one I've heard dozens of times. I will spare you the intimate details and give you the breakdown. First, he's an asshole, as you'd most likely suspect. Second, it wasn't her fault. Also not a surprise. Thirdly, there is another girl who is undoubtedly a whore, who he is with now. And fourth, and most importantly, no one will care if she's gone. That last point is the killer. No pun intended. I drove my little teen suicide queen to an overlook that gave us a nice view of the city. For reasons of anonymity, I'm keeping the location secret. No reason to incriminate myself any further. I turned off the car and stepped out into the moonlit night. She followed me, no longer crying, and sat down on the guardrail that stood in front of the car. We were silent for a few minutes before I spoke. So, you really want to kill yourself? Her eyes widened. Yes, there's nothing to live for. How? Aren't you supposed to talk me out of it? She asked. I shook my head. Why? You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. This girl was obviously not an adult, but I knew she would trust me more if I catered to her. The teenage mind is obsessed with being considered grown. It is a phenomenon that is so common that it may as well be law. Pills, she mumbled. Where were you going to get them? I have them with me, she replied. This was going to be easier than expected. May I see them? I asked. She handed me a bottle of pills. Reading the label, I assumed that they were prescribed to either her father or an older brother, if she had one. Inside the bottle were approximately 40 pills. They're sleeping pills, she said. Yes, I replied. Yes, they are. Do you want to take them? The tears began flowing from her eyes. Yes. What's stopping you? I asked. You are probably right about everyone else. They aren't with you now. They aren't here when you need them the most. Do they really care? Will you really be missed? I handed her the bottle and watched her tip them into her palm. I know, but I'm scared. I grabbed her hand. No reason to be scared, sweetie. I'm here with you. She looked up at me. The tears in her eyes reflected the beauty of the stars above. The pills dumped into her small palm, with a few falling to the concrete below. Thank you. I said nothing as she popped the first pill into her mouth. I remained quiet as she threw in the next 10 and then 20. I resisted a smile as she finished the bottle and stepped back clumsily to the hood of my car. The panic in her eyes set in as she realized what she had just done. Tears streamed from her cheeks, but they were no longer tears of anger. They were tears of fear. She instantly regretted what she did. It was odd. This was a person set on dying only moments ago. Why did you let me? She cried. It was your decision. You were supposed to stop me. I was supposed to provide assistance. I did that. I watched her curl up in the fetal position in front of my car and sob. She vomited and cried until her breathing slowed. I sat next to her and watched as the life left her body. She never accepted death. It was a fight she battled until the end. A rush swept over my body as she slid to the ground. This was much more enjoyable than listening to people cry over the phone. The one-on-one interaction was much more powerful. I could help in this realm. Over the phone, I was anonymous. My words had no authority. But in person, I was the one who held the cards. I could work these people like puppets. I am the master of life and death. It was that night that I decided to start my own private suicide hotline. I was going to save the world, one call at a time. I am the suicide doctor. Hey there guys, if you enjoyed watching the video, please hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate the feedback. And also feel free to leave a comment below. I read all of my comments. Thank you guys for all of your support. I honestly can't tell you guys how grateful I am to have you watch and enjoy my videos. But anyways, thanks for watching, and remember, have a safe night.